Hey up everyone, Magpie Gaming here. I hope you're all doing well. So as you will all know, we recently had the reveal of Streets of Tarkov. This was done in conjunction with the PC Gamer Live show that they did a few weekends ago, and there was an interview with Nikita shortly after. It was a short one that was done in English, but there was one that was done with somebody else, I believe, and it was done in Russian, and we've recently had that translated into English. So I'm going to go through the points that was made in that, because there's some quite interesting info in this. So I'm just going to go from the top to the bottom and give my opinion as we go along. So Nikita says that there are two patches planned in the near future. We're going to have 12.6.2 plus 12.7. Now when these will land, we don't know. 12.6.2 I reckon will be within the next few weeks. Realistically maybe 2 to 3 weeks. 12.7, my personal opinion is that it will be around the end of July. That's what I'm expecting. But with anything tied into Escape from Tarkov, don't quote me, take it all with a big pinch of salt because it always changes. We might even get them sooner, it could be a lot later. We'll wait and see on that. So he says that there will be cool Prapor quests tied in with 12.6.2 and 12.7. These will most likely lead to the first grenade launcher in the game, and he says that the first grenade launcher will be the most basic iteration of it. It's not going to be a thermobaric grenade launcher aimed at destroying buildings, which isn't going to happen in Escape from Tarkov anyway because we don't have that kind of physics within the engine. But yeah, it's just going to be the basic grenade launcher. I'm not sure it's an underslung one. As far as I'm aware, it is a standalone one that you carry with you. I'm not sure if it's like a fixed one which you have to plonk on the floor and use. I really don't know the ins and outs of this, so we'll have to wait and see with that one. Then Nikita is asked the question, will Tarkov ever come to consoles? And his answer is yes, it's planned in. Very active conversations happening on that front. Now me personally, Battlestate really do need to try and learn to walk before they run, and looking at pushing the game towards consoles right now I think would be a mistake in my personal opinion. There's still lots of things to try and get right with the PC version of the game. There's still lots of issues with it. Trying to put a game of this nature onto consoles would take up so much time and resource with them that it would inevitably mean that the PC version of the game would maybe not lose out on features, but the development of it would definitely slow down quite a lot, I think. So putting it onto consoles, I don't have any issue with that eventually, but I think it's something that should be done years down the line, you know, a couple of years away. Definitely wouldn't look at doing it anytime soon, but they say that they're having active conversations on it, so they must be looking into it at the moment. Nikita talks about the drops that we've recently got in the game. He says drops was a combined promotional effort. Lots of things fell into place at the right time: patch, wipe, sales and drops. The game was in a really good state at the time, and with new stuff added and fixes made, there was an opportunity for promotion. And he says that the most popular gaming regions are the USA, China, Germany, France, Spain and Russia. USA is of no surprise to me. That is where the vast majority of my YouTube traffic comes from, so big shout out to everybody in the USA. China, again, not a surprise because that's where the big amount of hackers are, so yeah, that's going to be up there. Germany, France, Spain, Russia, probably most of Europe, and obviously Russia because the game is based there. Next up is asked one big unified map. Still planned and is something BSG are working towards. The game world in general is already one big location which BSG work on all the time. Most of the key locations are already placed correctly in terms of distance in the used space. He says that they will be stitched together similar to the way the Stalker maps were stitched together. I've not really played Stalker, so I don't know how they're stitched together, but he says stitching locations together is something that is fairly easy to do, but making one big location is substantially harder. This is something that I've heard quite a lot since I've been playing Escape from Tarkov, was that eventually all of the maps will be opened up into one sort of big open world, and as he says, all of the locations are placed correctly. And I've heard before from streamers that when you actually load into a raid, it actually loads all of the maps in that instance, but obviously you've picked customs or shoreline, so you're only able to play in that instance, but apparently they are all loaded in at the same time, which could be one of the reasons we get such shit performance now and again. But to be honest, if it is loading in all of the maps and the performance is pretty decent sometimes, then you know, I can see that being something that would work. Definitely looking forward to the day when they do unify one big map together. I think it'd be great to traverse them all. I mean, mean, a raid would last God knows how long. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that works out eventually in the future. And he does say that maps will be stitched together when BSG get more experience and have less trouble using Unity. I think they're getting used to Unity recently. Obviously they've made strides into the performance of the game under Unity, and they've cut stutters quite a lot, considerably for most people. They've also reduced the RAM usage of the game, which is a bonus. So yeah, they're obviously getting to grips with Unity. I know that they are going to upgrade to Unity 2019 soon, and obviously that won't be as big an upgrade as it was last year to 2018, but we should see more improvements as it goes along. Multi-raids, or raids where you have to enter on one location, e.g. streets to labs or factory to labs, customs to reserve, from reserve to shoreline. There may be a game mode where there will be minimal menus and most of your playtime will be spent in game, similar to Left 4 Dead campaigns. Can't remember playing Left 4 Dead, so I don't really know how that works. But yeah, I have heard of a raid within a raid. I think that's eventually what labs is meant to be. You will go into one raid and you will access another map from within that raid, so it's kind of a raid within a raid. I've also heard that when they do eventually do that, you will be able to extract gear from one raid and have it moved to your stash before going back into the previous raid. So let's say for instance you go into factory and there's a door in factory that allows you to access labs. You would go into labs and then you would be able to extract your gear before going back into factory and then eventually extracting from the raid. Sounds good. Would take up a lot of time, but it would definitely be a challenge, and I think quite a lot of people would enjoy that. He goes on to say a new location will be introduced, which will be offline as a tutorial, which will contain about 20% of the basics, and the other 80% you will have to explore and find. Adding advanced new features such as prone leaning will not be in the tutorial, and then it's got playing dead. I don't really know what he means by that, but an offline tutorial would be good. I think Escape from Tarkov is definitely one of those games where you are in at the deep end straight away, and the good thing though is there are people like me and a lot of other people out there that are willing to help people traverse the Escape from Tarkov universe and work your way around it. You've got the Tarkov wiki, which is an absolutely amazing font of information for the game. You've obviously got a lot of YouTubers and content creators that are putting out tutorials and things like that. I think to have a game-based tutorial done by Escape from Tarkov would be good though, just to help ease in new players, but at the end of the day it's not meant to be an easy game. So, and you are meant to find out the majority of what this game does and what you need yourself. That's part and parcel of Escape from Tarkov. Steam audio, does it give you an advantage? Not sure. In first tests there was nothing that they noticed which give players a significant advantage. My overall understanding of Steam audio, or my opinion of it should I say, is that I found it a lot easier to pinpoint where people are, which is exactly what Steam audio was introduced for. It was introduced so that your directional and positioning sound was a lot better, and that works for me. I at first, in the first maybe week, noticed that I could hear people from a long way away with Steam audio on. I find that less now. Although there was an update a few days ago, maybe about a week ago, to Steam audio. I think they nerfed the actual distance at which you could hear people, and it feels right to me. I feel like I can comfortably walk around a map and not be heard by somebody that's fairly close to me. Obviously if I run, I'm going to alert people from further away, but I think it's going to be one of those things where they just keep testing it and trying to get it right. They do say that whilst they're working with Steam audio and until they get it to a point where they believe it's right, they will still give us the option to turn it on and off. If you turn it off, obviously go back to the old Escape from Tarkov audio, which I would assume is not being worked on anymore, but we all know where we stand with the old audio. But yeah, they're constantly working on that one. Then Nikita says with the wipe came a lot of cheaters and they are being banned all of the time with the use of different techniques. He says if there is anyone out there watching who specialises in catching cheaters, it's time to speak up and talk to us about it. The worst thing about this is when normal players think we are doing nothing about it. Because of the cheaters, we have to divert manpower to catching cheaters and building the game. So yeah, there's been a lot of tweets put out over the last couple of weeks where thousands of people have been banned from the game. I don't really understand why when there is a wipe it brings more cheaters in, whether it's something that's resetting the game that allows them to come back in, or whether it's just because there's been a wipe the cheaters think, you know what, I'm going to jump on, so you get reoccurring cheaters come back. I really don't know too much about that. Asking for help from people that specialise in it is good in one way, They're showing that they actively want to combat the cheats. In another way, it's bad because it's almost admitting, we have a massive problem here, we need help. Now, they use their own in-game anti-cheat. They have Battle Eye, and Battle Eye is probably one of the best anti-cheats on the planet, but still asking for help tells me that there are some gaping holes in this game in places that need to be patched up. But I don't doubt that they do everything that they can to get rid of cheats in this game. I've got to say, I have some janky kills in this game. I have some really, really suspicious deaths. How many times I've been killed by a cheat, I really don't know. I think in the last couple of weeks there's maybe 2 occasions where I believe somebody was maybe not playing by the rules, but I think the vast majority of cheats that are going in are probably trying to avoid other people because they want to extract with the gear they've got, because that is going into the coffers of the RMTs. These are the real money traders, so they don't want to die in raid. They want to avoid running into other people because they need to get out with the gear they've got because they've sold it to somebody for real world cash. So it's an ongoing battle. And battle state will always be one step behind the cheats. You don't know you've got an exploit until somebody exploits it. So it's just one of those battles that will constantly rage on, and it's a shame that they have to divert so many people into sorting it. Hopefully that will always be the case. Hopefully Battle Eye will get better at detecting the cheats within this game. Hopefully they will be able to assist Battle Eye in doing that. It's in everybody's interest to catch these people and get rid of them. And that was pretty much it for the interview that Nikita gave. Obviously a lot of this is stuff that's way down the line for the game. None of it's sort of stuff that's going to be anytime soon, other than the Steam audio and obviously the 2 patches that are planned pretty soon. The rest of it's sort of pie in the sky stuff, and maybe stuff that I don't think they should be concentrating on right now. A console release, no. Forget that for now, just leave that. For stitching the maps together and having one unified map, yeah, I'm sure a lot of Tarkov players would love that, but right now we just settle for the maps that we've got working a lot better than they do currently. I have to say that they have done work on that, and it does work a lot better, but there's still work to be done. So I think they should just concentrate on what they have been doing rather than looking at these other things, because they're going to take away from the overall development of the game and slow it down. So, and yeah, I suppose that makes me a bit of a selfish PC player, but there you go. So yeah, good interview, and let me know in the comment section down below what you think about some of the points that Nikita made. I'm sorry it's a bit of a long video, but there was a lot to talk about. So yeah, let me know what you think, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.